Lagos is a coastal city on West Africa's Atlantic seaboard. It became Nigeria's first capital city in 1861, and it has grown rapidly since Nigerian independence in 1960, when its estimated population was 763,000. With a significant migration from those in rural areas in search of employment and those escaping conflicts in northern areas and elsewhere in Nigeria and the West African sub-region, Lagos has remained Nigeria's foremost city economically and socio-politically. Now at roughly 25 million, this population is significantly higher than Nigeria's other major cities, and more than 40% of its population is under the age of 25. The Nigerian federal government moved its capital from Lagos to Abuja in 1991, but it remains the hub of Nigeria's economy and society. Despite this, it faces a host of social and economic challenges such as uncoordinated urban expansion, inadequate housing, a chaotic transportation system, inefficient waste management, an erratic energy system, water and sanitation poverty, safety and security challenges, inadequate healthcare system, poor education system, and so on. In Lagos, the ACRC City of Systems Study seeks to understand how key dimensions of urban life function in the city, given the scale, interconnectedness, and contestations inherent in service provision. Through extensive desk research and engagement with key stakeholders across government, civil society, local community, and academia, the following are some emerging issues in the interrogation of Lagos as a city of systems. Water and sanitation system, WASH. Lagos State has an estimated daily water demand in excess of 3.83 billion litres per day, of which only 40% of this demand is being provided by the Lagos Water Corporation daily. There are numerous actors in the Lagos WASH across government parastatals, international development agencies and funders, the private sector, and professional research institutions. However, the role of the local government system in public service delivery is unclear, while the contributions of local community actors often goes unrecognized. There is also a gap in knowledge on the consideration of the informal sector in the scheme of water delivery in the state. Energy system. We can say that Lagos is an energy-poor city because both high-income and low-income families and businesses have to augment limited national grid supply through costly alternative means, including the use of fossil fuel generators and solar panels. Given the tensions that arise from unmet energy demand, air pollution consequent to use of fossil fuel generators, and the high cost of self-generation, it is important to understand consumer protection mechanisms and the politics of electricity meter supply to Lagos. Transportation system. The Lagos transport sector faces multifaceted challenges, including standardization of operators, inadequate infrastructure, poor management, poor planning. This is worsened by high rates of migration to the city and expansion of the city limits to the peri-urban margins. Currently, over 70% of the public transportation is provided by the informal sector, and the informal transport unions exert dominance on the road transport governance infrastructure. The opportunities of water transportation are not being effectively leveraged, and the ban on informal commercial motorcycles raises socio-economic and security risks. Reconciling the huge investment in transport sector reforms and technology-enabled innovative transport interventions with clear operational gaps in the sector is quite challenging. We then ask, what is the minimum standard of service for an efficient megacity? Waste management system. Despite Lagos having the longest history of organized solid waste management in Nigeria, the process of waste sorting from source has been really slow. Given the contribution of informal waste workers in recycling and other waste-to-wealth activities, a key issue that needs to be addressed is the process of integrating informal waste workers into the Lagos waste management value chain. Furthermore, food waste constitutes over 50% of waste generated in Lagos. How can this be efficiently collected and converted to fuel, compost, or other valuable products? Food distribution system. Given the food security vulnerabilities of the city in light of the climate crisis and the fact that Lagos produces less than 20% of food consumed in the city, there is the need to prioritize food production and distribution. To this end, we ask the following questions. How can we boost the micro-scale domestic agricultural practices that have emerged since COVID-19 lockdown? How can we upscale the activities of food benevolence networks that cater for the most vulnerable Lagosians? How can prevalent market politics be navigated to aid sustainable food distribution? Healthcare system. Existing data shows the geographical spread of primary health facilities and medical personnel is skewed in favor of Lagos Island, which accommodates less than 4% of the population. Thus, it is important to understand the logic behind the distribution of health facilities and the coping strategies of underserved communities. With many residents relying on private healthcare services, it is also important to understand the implications of commodifying health access and gains of emergency healthcare post-COVID-19. It is also necessary to interrogate citizen-led health-promoting activities and infrastructure, such as access to public spaces and physical activities, as well as the advocacy against illicit drug markets, alcohol consumption, and unhealthy lifestyles. Education system. Given the unprecedented migration wave into Lagos in recent times, there has been an increase in out-of-school children, coupled with a significant gap in the demand for public secondary school education, as well as other systemic challenges in infrastructure, technology, and curricula. Critical issues that need urgent attention include the progress made in increasing special education accessibility, as well as improving quality and expanding formal and vocational education access to underserved communities. Investigating how these key issues and systems are functioning in Lagos will generate insights and evidence that will help improve the living conditions, services, and life chances of all Lagos residents, particularly the disadvantaged communities.